Hello and welcome to the Hispanic Patriot Podcast, everybody. A weekly podcast broadcast live from a secret undisclosed location here in the heart of the great state of Colorado. Here we speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help us God. Thank you all for joining us, and without further ado, my name is Nicholas Razzo, and here we have our fearless patron, Hugo Chavez Rey. Give it up for the Hispanic Patriot Podcast.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Welcome aboard for another great edition. Hopefully we can entertain you, inform you, and keep you focused on the show for an hour. Not much time. You got time. Grab a beer, grab a cup of coffee.
We might hold you more than that, actually. You know, we can't guarantee that. You're in for the duration, folks, now. You have no choice. Enjoy the ride.
Oh, you're trapped. We have you now. We know your location.
Well, thank you all for joining us, everybody. We always appreciate you guys coming along with us. Remember to hit the like, share, and subscribe to all the platforms we have. You won't want to miss anything we got for you.
Yes, absolutely. And help us grow. You can also help us financially if you're so inclined, and we appreciate everything you can give. A $5 donation goes a long way. So
you guys have seen how we've improved just in the year, just with what we've had, just what we've had from you guys. So, I mean, you can watch this platform explode with what you've got, and because we have the content, we have the connections, we have what you guys want to see. And we're always really happy to see you guys every week. And I'm happy to see you, Hugo, every week. This has been so enjoyable. This has been a magical year. And now we get to enjoy 4 years of awesomeness.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on here in Colorado. So I think we're going to be focusing quite a bit on Colorado tonight, although we do have some national news and national events that we're going to discuss and have a little fun with. So without further ado, let's roll right into it. And our first topic for tonight is going to be here in Colorado's legislature, SB 25-003, which here in Colorado we affectionately call it the gun grab bill. And as of right now, this is set to become the most radical gun grab bill in the nation. And Colorado seems to have this propensity for being the most radical about everything. They did it with abortion. They did it with sanctuary cities. They just seem to be interested in being the most annoying and radical people we can be. And
absolutely, it's terrible. And the founding fathers wanted all the states to be laboratories of democracy, not meth labs of democracy. I mean, this is. I thought that when I left Chicago, these gun grabbing laws wouldn't follow me. But luckily, I know a thing or two about defeating them. So hopefully we can do that here. But right now, we just have to report to you the bad news, unfortunately. But maybe not bad completely.
There's a little bit of good news on the horizon. The bill passed. The bill passed through the House, went to the Senate, where it has now stalled. And all that means is it's temporarily held within the Senate, and I forget the date. I think it's somewhere in the second week of March. Between now and then, I'm guessing there's a lot of debate going on. Now, I personally have written to legislators and the governor and explained to them that there was no way in hell citizens of Colorado were going to stand pat for this type of legislation.
And you all can do the same also. Any of you hunters, gun owners, please, you need to be writing the governor. We encourage that here on Hispanic Patriot because they do listen. I mean, the Colorado State Legislature, they may be liberal, but they do. We make them listen. Sometimes you ever see Shawshank Redemption? Sometimes it just takes a million letters.
Yeah, sometimes it goes in one ear and out the other, but
we need to make our voices heard no matter what. I mean, part of politics is making your voice heard when you know they're not listening, because eventually they might be the ones that have to
always
listen.
Helps. It does not hurt to send messages, even if it's a brief message. If you burn their phones off the wall, if you blast their emails, if you just, and do it respectfully. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
We don't have to get nasty about it, but we can be firm and we can be strong about our feelings. Just keep it cogent and keep it respectful in the sense of language.
Yes.
But we can definitely make a difference. Sometimes you never know who you're going to reach in the legislature. You never know what mood the governor may be. You got to remember one thing about our governor here in Colorado, and that is he has aspersions of higher office. So if he were to sign a bill as radical as this one, which is
He'd have to take that to the national election.
there's clearly unconstitutional. Okay,
It's ridiculous, to be honest. We can go into the content if we want, but
let's not even argue about that.
No,
It
we
is
don't need
clearly
to.
unconstitutional, and it will never pass constitutional muster through the courts. And the Supreme, if it goes to the Supreme Court, they will strike it down like a bad serve in a tennis court. Okay?
As they should. And I want to say, Coloradans, you are awesome, because we don't even need to explain to you the intricacies of the gun laws here. Back home in Chicago, people don't have guns. They don't know what guns are. You guys know what guns are because you have to protect yourselves from bobcats and wolves that they introduced and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Increasing immigrant crime, which they also introduced. It's amazing how, Hugo, the Democrats encourage policies that make citizens need guns, but then they try to take them away afterwards. It seems a little bit strange, you know what I mean?
Well, it's the old adage with Democrats. It's always rules for thee, but not for we.
We is very important. You not very important at all.
Yeah,
I don't know what accent I was doing there. Maybe some kind of odd globalist accent. I don't know.
They always pass things that that they don't think applies to them.
You shall put some apples in your ears. It's always the most ridiculous crap they make us do. Get rid of your guns. Tolerate this. Tolerate that. But yeah, this is going to devastate hunters. This is going to hurt people that are protecting themselves from gun crime, including gun crime too. I mean, you know what's a good way of preventing a guy who pulled out a gun on you? Pulling out your own gun. Pulling out a knife just doesn't cut it at that point.
Yeah, you don't take a knife to a gunfight. And
no, you don't.
That's an old Western adage, and it's true. The fact, that we live in a Western state with a
we're banning guns. That's sick.
We're a Western culture that has been infiltrated by nut jobs, in my opinion, that have come from different parts of the country, a lot of them from California, that want to basically turn Colorado into California. And the people here are just fed up. And I think that we're going to start seeing a trend in the other direction here in the next couple of years. And we're praying for that. We're hoping, we're working for that. So there's a lot of things that are going to be affecting that. But at least for now, this horrendous bill is kind of on the shelf. But we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks and whether it passes through the Senate. And if it does, then that means it's on its way to the governor's desk for signature. And that will be a different test, especially for Governor Polis. So let's see what happens. We'll keep our eyes on that. I'm in touch and a member of a couple of gun groups, so I'll be able to fill you in on what's going on. I believe that the people are up in arms, no pun intended.
Quite literally, actually. This is their last chance to do so until they're taken away. So
we have to look. We if we don't stand up for our rights, I don't know what is.
And at every level, and that's the point. Is that look, we are not the old type of Republicans that would just let things happen. We are the kind of Republicans that fight at every single level we possibly can, no matter what the odds are, because you never know. I mean, look at the story of Tabor being, sent again and again and again until it was finally passed. Some of the best things we love in this country were the product of persistence.
Yep. And bottom line, the Second Amendment says it quite clearly.
Yes.
Shall not be infringed. It doesn't say we can pass rules, we can pass regulations. They want to regulate. They want to ban. They want people to have to go and get permission from the sheriff to own a
Yeah,
gun.
really.
They want us to register our guns. That's the other thing. And this is really part of the overall game plan of theirs is gun registration.
Yeah.
And everyone that has a brain knows that what precedes or what comes after gun registration is gun confiscation.
And even if you disagree with that, even if you think that's a conspiracy theory, which it's not, they've done it tons of times. Look at car registration. Look at anything you have to register and how much the government controls it. You can't let this happen to guns because this is the Japanese have an understanding that a weapon is an extension of yourself. They're really taking a part of you. The thing that might be able to save your life, that's a part of you. That's not just some benign object. So that's something that Democrats need to understand completely. Even frilly liberals in European countries, I don't know if you know this, Hugo, even liberals in European countries are considering repealing their ridiculous draconian gun laws now that this huge war on their border is happening. Amazing that when people are in danger, even liberals understand it. I don't know why our American liberals can't understand it. Maybe they don't have enough. Maybe they put enough police they haven't defunded between them and the criminals that they've imported.
Yeah, just ask our Australian friends who went through this.
That's a sad story right there.
It's actually, I was, when it happened, I was so shocked because Australia has always been a fairly conservative country.
And it's going the way of Canada these days.
And when they decided that they were going to have mandatory gun buybacks, that's just a euphemism for confiscation.
Yeah.
And now, I can't remember when it happened, but I think it's been at least 5 years since they did it. And they are coming out and saying, we're sorry we let the government do this. So we can't let that happen in America, because if America becomes socialistic and controlled by the government, then the whole world is screwed.
It would mean that the country that is the largest economically, culturally, has fundamentally had its soul changed, which means it can happen to any other country. That's what everyone has to understand. If the biggest can fall, every smallest before it has no chance. So
it's a globalist movement. Let's be real. This is coming from globalist-minded people who have infiltrated this country and poisoned the minds of people that have gotten elected, or they actually selected these people to elect, to put in legislatures, to put into Congress, and people like Soros and others that are out there trying to undermine our country, our rights, our freedoms, and they want us to become a one world government. That's what it's all about, folks.
And we're not about that. That's not
the
what we are.
reason they have to disarm the population is because without disarming the population, their one world government dream will never happen. So this is all part of a plot. You can call me a conspiracy theorist all you want. It's a fact. And if you don't believe it, you
haven't read the books on it that they've written themselves.
He's a few fries short of a happy meal.
See, guys, amazing how the Boomer and the Millennial both know that old saying.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the update on that horrendous horrendous bill that's on the floor of the Senate. So remember, right folks,
as on the Senate, we can still fight it. Keep fighting it. Fight. Don't give up on it. But we will keep you informed as it goes along its process.
Now we're going to roll into another issue that's near and dear to Republicans here in the state, and that is our current open primary system. There's a lot of debate among Republicans about what we should or shouldn't do with the open primaries, but let me give you a little background on this, okay? Basically, open primaries are unconstitutional, okay? You can't argue that. It's already been proven in the courts, and in California, in fact, their open primary was struck down by the Supreme Court. So it basically, when they brought it here to Colorado and got it passed, we've had nothing but a downslide with regards to conservatives getting elected here. Because
you can see that on the chart, actually.
Yes, because what it did basically is opened up Republican primaries to left-wingers, independents, anybody that wanted to vote in our primaries, then basically decided they were going to vote for the candidates that would be the easiest to beat in the general election. So it was nothing more than a Democrat tool to weaken the Republican Party field in general elections. So,
and even barring that, at the very least, forcing us to have that consideration, so we have potentially sort of someone who isn't so conservative by choice. Basically, this person might personally be, against abortion or something very, very fundamental to the Republican Party, but because they know that they're in an open primary state, they might not talk about that. They might not push that, and you might not know their real position on things. Yep. So it's not just the worst case scenario that this affects.
So Kevin Lundberg is a former state senator here in Colorado, and he is the chairman for the Colorado GOP lawsuit committee. And so he posted this update on the progress of the case challenging the semi-open primary in federal court. So the contention is that political parties, being a private organization, should not be required to allow non-party members to vote in that party's elections, selecting their nominee for general elections. This legal standard was actually established by the U.S. Supreme Court in the Jones case in the year 2000. In 2021, the state Republican Central Committee unanimously approved a resolution calling for a legal challenge of Prop 108. That ballot initiative was approved by a narrow majority vote in the 2016 general election and was first applied to primary elections in 2018. It is instructive to note that the counties with a plurality of Republican voters rejected Prop 108 in the 2016 vote. Prop 108 allows unaffiliated voters to vote in the primary for either major party in Colorado. Since all party-affiliated voters are still only allowed to vote in their party's primary or participate in nominating assemblies for minor parties, this primary system is considered a semi-open primary. The state party leadership for 2021 and 2022 did not file that lawsuit. So I and a handful of Colorado Republicans raised the money to file a suit on our own. The judge threw the case out, saying that since the Colorado Republican Party was not officially a part of the suit, we did not have legal standing to file that suit. In 2024, new leadership for the party did file the suit, and I was appointed the chairman to oversee the process. The attorneys we hired for the case were John Eastman and Randy Corcoran. Mr. Eastman had participated in the Jones case back in 2000, and Mr. Corcoran also serves as the Republican National Committee man for the Colorado Republican Party. The lawsuit was filed in July 2023. Federal court cases take a long time to wind through the legal system. Early in 24, we requested a preliminary injunction to apply to the 24 primary election. The judge denied our request for the injunction, but the case was continued on. We are currently at the stage of conducting depositions in preparation for the actual court hearing later this year. Most legal scholars agree that our contention is legally sound. The only real question is, can we continue to fund the case to its final conclusion? So lawsuits of this kind are very expensive. We have raised more than $100,000 for this effort, as many Colorado citizens recognize the significance of the issue, but more important is needed to finish the project. Now, 2 separate funds have been established. The state party has a fund that can accept contributions, and the Claremont Institute is a 501c3 nonprofit, has a fund that can accept tax-deductible donations. So that's the difference. If you donate to the party, it's not tax deductible. If you donate through the Claremont Institute, is tax deductible. So investing in this lawsuit is one of the most efficient ways to support conservative values in our political system. Since Prop 108 has been the law in Colorado, the Republican Party has lost the majority in all statewide elected governing bodies and statewide elected officials, which I said earlier is by design. There are several factors that have contributed to this dismal situation, but a key factor has been the semi-open primary, and we can fix this in the courts if we stay the course. So I want to say this about, just give you a little analogy of what, for people that don't understand why a political party is a private organization, okay? Some people have the idea that a political party is a public organization. That is incorrect, okay? A political party, the Democrats, the Republicans, the Libertarians, the Green Party, the Federalist Party, all of these parties are private organizations, okay? So imagine for a minute that Hugo Chavez Ray decides that he's going to walk down to the Denver Country Club, walk in the front door, and demand access to all their facilities and say, and they're going to look at me and say, Mr. Chavez Ray, you're not a member. And I say, but that doesn't matter. I should be able to play here because this is a public organization. No, sir, this is a private club and you must be a member to play here. So same thing, extrapolate that to the Republican Party. You've got people who are not Republicans wanting to tell our party how to run our business, what candidates we should select, what candidates we should nominate, what our platform should be, etc. Okay? So that's just as ridiculous as me going down and demanding access to a club that I'm not a member of. So, and it's a simple process, okay? You want to participate in the Republican Party's process, then register as a Republican.
You have to be a Republican. Fair enough.
Nobody's going to deny you that right. Register. You can register very easily. You can do it online nowadays. So it's not like it's a major project, okay?
If you're a Republican anyways, lean that way, you probably believe in voter ID as it is. So, I mean, it's less arduous than that.
Yeah. But the detractors, now here's the funny part. I say funny, but it's not really funny. It's kind of frustrating, to be honest. You got some Republicans within the party that say, oh, we're going to disenfranchise up to 1 million Republican voters, and all the unaffiliates are going to be mad at us and they're going to vote against us. Okay, let's start with the fact that right now, unaffiliateds in this state represent the majority of the faction of registered voters, okay? And traditionally and factually, 60+% of them already vote with Democrats, okay? So that means that you're fighting for 40% of people who didn't have the gumption to stick with the Republican Party or never registered with the Republican Party in the first place. So to me, that means, what is that saying? Tough titty, said the kitty, but there ain't no milk.
I wasn't ready for that one, actually. I haven't heard that one in a really. I've heard that one. I've heard even a longer time ago than the one for sort of a Happy Meal. Actually, Hugo, that was a good one. But yeah. I will give credence to one argument that I've heard because I'd love to hear your answer about this. Okay. I've heard it argued that eliminating the open primary for Republicans does not immediately eliminate it for Democrats. And the idea is that the Democrats will have unaffiliates and others voting in their primary, but we will not have it voting any of those people voting in ours.
No, that's incorrect.
All right, if you would like to expound on that.
If the lawsuit is won, it will eliminate Prop 108 from our laws.
So I think that's a huge thing people don't really know about, Hugo.
Privately, I'll be honest with you. This too. I have heard the Democrat Party privately state that they're against the open primaries too.
Because think about the people who are Democrats. They're radical communists who frankly don't want unaffiliates voting in their primary either.
Yeah, but here's the deal. The reason they're not saying anything is because they're benefiting from it right now.
Yeah,
Okay. They benefit from the fact that you've got
numerically.
unaffiliates voting in our primaries, selecting candidates, and they take and go and try to muddy the waters for Republican field. So we don't get to select our own candidates. Okay. And then the other argument that the so-called brilliant minds in our party are saying is that, oh, well, if the unaffiliateds can't help us select our candidates, then we're not going to have candidates that can win.
We'll have
What?
awesome candidates that we elected that will win them over, which is their job.
Yeah. Well, that basically ignores the fact that their end game is to select such poor candidates on the Republican ticket that they are unelectable in the general election.
That's kind of my question, Hugo. Actually, is that because okay, so we have a general election, right? Maybe I'm confused about something. We have a general election where everybody can vote. That's the whole
Everybody
point.
can
Everybody
vote,
can vote.
and
But then
everybody
there's
can vote for whoever they want.
and right now we have a primary election where we have the same thing as that, basically, more or less. I mean, Democrats can't vote in our primary. Is that true? Democrats can't vote in our primary.
Democrats cannot vote, but they can switch parties, although they've changed the.
This was the question that I had. Where do we Republicans get our own vote where it's just us and it's our party? Where do we get that right now? Or do we not have that with the open? We don't have that with the open
under the
primary.
current system. We don't.
That's the whole point.
And here's the other thing that totally ignored. Okay, primaries are one of the poorest attended elections that we have on the books.
It's really true. It's really
obvious.
You
know that in this past in the last primary, guess how many people actually voted?
I'm going to guess it was actually less than previous years, actually, because that's the trend. But please, tell us.
It's less than 25%.
Less than 25%
of the voters statewide voted in the primary.
That's statewide in a national election where we had greater turnout. So that's really telling you something.
Yeah, but here's the deal. It's really not a big deal. That's the whole point. Okay. They act like there's 100% of people voting in the primaries, and we're disenfranchising all these different people if we have a closed primary.
So, Hugo, you would say that most unaffiliates are not actually reached or persuaded to vote Democrat by primary elections that they don't vote in. Is that fair to say?
Well, there's a percentage because, like I said, right now 60+% of unaffiliateds vote with Democrats. So those people would be the most.
They're the mobilized ones that the Democrats mobilize.
Yeah, they would mobilize those people to vote in Republican primaries for really bad candidates so that when the general election rolls around, they can beat the candidate. So they want weak candidates on our ticket while they put up stronger candidates.
And we do not have the numbers to do the same to them. So it's just a snowballing effect for the Democrats, and that is what we have seen over the years.
Yeah, and the most glaring position of all, it's unconstitutional.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem that we have right now, actually, is that regardless of the arguments we could have about it, exactly.
What are all these Democrats crying about right now out there? Oh, Trump is
destroying the
executive order is unconstitutional. It's not, but that's what they're shouting. Okay, they use the Constitution when it's beneficial to them, but they don't care about it any other time.
And I want to say, actually, if you look at historically certain European dictatorships, even modern European dictatorships that have parliamentary systems, looking at sort of Germany that allowed the rise of the Nazis, or presently in Russia, or whatever have you, this is actually the snowballing effect of ruling parties. This is actually how they do it. Basically, it rewards you for having more members that get to vote in your opponent's party elections. They get to steer their elections. This is how dictatorships are formed, actually, in a lot of places. So not usually communist. They're usually a little bit aggressive, but those sort of very, very nice on the face dictatorships that Ronald Reagan often warned us of. This is how they do it. So the fact that we have an unconstitutional primary system, that might be enough to override any argument you might have in support of it. So that is something brought to you by somebody who's had 40 years of experience in politics.
So here's the bottom line, okay? The rhinos in this party don't want us to close the primary, okay? Because they think like Democrats and they act like Democrats. Let's be real, okay? They're not Republicans. They can cry all they want about how they're Republicans and that they're open-minded and we want to bring in people into the big tent and all of that. But excuse me, we don't operate like that, okay? All we want is the right to select our own candidates. And then
that's something for us for once.
They run in the general election. That's it. Okay. So anybody that argues against that is not really a Republican. I don't care what they're registered at. They're not really Republicans. And we know that we have been infiltrated by Democrats in the party. They are here. They are visible in some places, more visible than others, but they're here. Sometimes they talk the right game, but then, when it comes to the nitty gritty, the bread and butter, they act just like who they are, and that is Democrats. So
fair enough.
It's a game, and it's a plan to destroy the Republican Party. That's bottom line.
That's really what it is, and you can't go along with it. And if I might just speak to any viewers who might feel, or anyone who might have seen this clip or had anyone share it to, who might feel personally attacked by any of that, imagine yourself in a confined space with a lot of dangerous creatures, and someone looks at you and says, "Are you one of them?" And you know you're not one of them. Is your answer, "No, how dare you accuse me of being one of them? I'm going to stay in here then"? Or is your reaction go, "Well, I'm not one of them. How do I get out of here"? Usually you'll find someone a lot more caring if you make it clear, "Hey, I'm not one of those guys. I'm not somebody who wants to destroy the Republican Party. I don't want to be gullible and go along with Democrats want me to do." That's a teaching moment. That's where you can say, "Hey, teach me what's going on," especially if you know somebody has had a lot more experience than you in politics. So be open-minded. Don't feel personally attacked. If you know you're not a rhino, but you at this moment agree with open primaries, take a look at this clip. Take a look at it in its entirety and see how the arguments shake out, and see if your Republican commitment to constitutionality stands up to your support of the open primaries.
Yep. So that's basically the whole thing in a nutshell.
Brutal in a nutshell.
The open primary fight has been going on. And just so you know, the State Central Committee voted unanimously for the state party to file this lawsuit back when KBB was chair. She ignored the edict from the State Central Committee, for which she properly should have been removed as chair, because she is
properly not in a coup. That wouldn't have been unnecessary.
That's right. She was duty bound to do what the Central Committee said to do, and there was no ambiguity. It was a unanimous vote, and she kept kicking the can down the road. I was calling her almost every week, and when are you going to file the lawsuit? When are you going to file the lawsuit? Oh, it was excuse after excuse.
You understood exactly what was going on,
because she never intended to file the lawsuit. So for those of you crying about Dave Williams not following the bylaws and the rules of the party, where were you when KBB completely ignored the order of the Central Committee?
From my understanding, the Central Committee has been pretty supportive of the chairman, honestly, all in parts. I mean, based on the votes that have been taken through and everything, it seems like the people who are most upset are the people who are out of power. Funny how that works. I don't know. You think they would enjoy the vacation?
Yeah, well, I personally hope and pray that this lawsuit continues. If you're inclined, donate. I have donated to the cause. It's a worthy cause. And if you want your party to be the party that it should be, then you should donate. Everybody can afford to donate should donate. So,
and I believe you said that unlike donating to the party, it is tax deductible, or did I mishear that?
if you donate through the Claremont Institute, I keep saying industry, the Claremont
We're industrious, us Republicans.
Yes. The Claremont Institute donation is tax deductible. If you donate straight to the party, it is not. So,
yes. Want everyone to hear that.
If you need a tax deduction in your donation, do it through the Claremont Institute. It goes to the same place. So it goes to the same cause. It's just two different methods by which you can donate. So I encourage you to be proactive, donate, and whatever you can afford to give it, because it's going to a worthy cause. I believe we can prevail. I believe that our team will prevail in court, but they need the money to do so, because it's not cheap to go through the federal court system. And
no, it isn't. I mean, this is legal warfare, people. This is legal war. And as you guys saw in my Hispanic Patriot Plays Medieval Times, 3 things what is needed for war: money, money, and more money.
And weapons.
And weapons, yeah. Well, how do you pay for the weapons, right? The blacksmith isn't going to make it for free.
That's right. So,
and that's why communism never worked in the medieval times.
Yep. So that's the update on the open primary question. I hope we helped you understand it a little better.
Yeah, and share this video with your friends if you think that if you support the open primaries, or if you don't support the open primaries. Look around. Always be looking open-minded for what top Republicans are saying.
Yep. Now let's shift gears. We have another controversy already brewing in the state GOP, and that is the leadership, shall we call it, of Weld County, that basically, held their reorganizational meeting and basically made a mockery of the process. They claim they followed procedure and protocol, but not so fast. Now, I am a member of the state executive committee that met and discussed what this county leadership decided to do. And that is our chairman, having seen a vacancy in like 40 different precincts in Weld County, put up a list and sent it to the leadership of Weld County for their upcoming reorganizational meeting. And they were supposed to have the vote on that list. What happened was they decided, because it was Dave Williams who put up the list, they knew or felt that it was going to be a biased group, and so they decided to just completely ignore it. They didn't even put it up for a floor vote. They just decided to ignore it and then create their own list. And they didn't do it until the very end of the meeting, to where
everyone's already there the whole time, and
most of the people had already left. They had conducted their officer elections and other business, and that was by design. So then they substituted their list for the list that the chairman had submitted. Now, the rule is quite clear that the state party can submit recommendations to fill vacant PCP slots. These PCP slots were left vacant for 11 months.
That's unacceptable.
Which means that the party leadership in that county was not doing their job, because one of their first jobs is to make sure that you have PCPs and district captains. They completely were derelict in their duty in that regard. So the chairman kept communicating with that leadership, asking them to fill those slots. Well, they didn't. They just kicked the can down the road. And by the time...
He asked you first, so I mean...
Yeah, and by the time their meeting was coming around, our chairman submitted a list for them to consider at their meeting. They could have easily considered it, had the body vote on it, and move on. everything would have been okay. But they didn't do it. And the way they did it was basically manipulative in the sense that they wanted to kill the list that the chairman had submitted and substitute it with cronies of their own. Okay. So the body didn't even get the vote. And we don't know what the result of the vote might have been, but at least there should have been a vote.
So I don't get it. We're Republicans and we oppose illegal immigration. We think you have to go through a process in order to, a proper process in order to be part of anything. But these guys here in Weld County wanted to put, X amount of people who didn't go through a process instead of the 40 people that did go through a process because they don't like them. Yep. That's what I'm saying is that the best way to understand whose side you're on in all of this is apply Republican principles to what's going on. Does this seem Republican to you? It doesn't really seem that to me. I know that there were a few young people there who that was sort of their first foray into anything, and what a disappointing foray it was. Especially to be brought. These meetings can go a long time. So imagine you've devoted a whole time of your life to this to be told basically, we wish you weren't here at all. That's how you kill the future of a party.
So the state executive committee debated this issue for about an hour. We debated all the different options and what was appropriate, what wasn't appropriate, and the bylaws are clear. They did not conduct their reorganizational meeting according to bylaws. They violated their own bylaws, by the way, and they also basically stuck a finger in the eye of the state party because they didn't like the state party. So state executive committee voted by a vote of about 18-4 to order Weld County to redo their reorganizational meeting with the state chairman stepping in as the chair for that meeting. So the outcry from the other side is that how dare the state party step in, and why this is unprecedented. Yet, when they did it to Vicky Tompkins in El Paso County, I don't recall those same people crying foul. In fact, they were cheering it on when KBB decided to invalidate their reorganizational meeting in El Paso County and hold their own.
What were you saying about rules for we, but not for rules for thee, but not for we?
Yep. Rules for thee, but not for me. That's the way they think. That's why I say these people act more like Democrats than anything.
That's why we got to say Democrat and Republican in America, especially nowadays, really is not just about politics. It's about identity and culture, honestly. It's about who you are. The Democrats have mobilized all of our society to be into this political fight. So now just everything is, media is political. Sexuality is political. Education is political. And that total mobilization is actually directly what's in the strategy of Vladimir Lenin and Saul Alinsky and other communists of that era and trade. So that's why we fight against it so hard, folks. It's just not really a system you want to live under, even if you don't understand it. You want to get yourself acquainted with these things.
Yep. So the meeting has been ordered. It has been scheduled for March the 8th, and it will be run by our state chairman, Dave Williams. So, people that are members of the Central Committee in Weld County will have another opportunity to vote. There will be an up and down vote on the list that the state party submitted. And then if needed, they can, have votes on other candidates. But the bottom line is they didn't follow the rules, so the meeting was invalidated.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. It has nothing to do with vendettas or personal issues. This is a procedural decision. And
it's a necessity too, because I can actually speak from experience, because there are certain House districts in our county that need to have meetings to do the same thing. And we could go on without them. We could pretend we made no mistakes, that everything was perfect, but we want all of our T's crossed and our I's dotted, and we want to make sure we're doing things the right way, because we're tired of the accusations that we're an unprofessional part of the party. It's interesting that when we are just getting up and up, they call us disorganized, and that's why we can't have power. But then when we gain power, they say, oh, we're dictators, we're kings, we're ruthless. I don't know how we go from utter and complete schlups to the most, brutal state dictators in Republican history. But, I guess we're just that good. We evolved that fast, right?
Yeah.
And it's very silly to follow this logic.
So there's nothing nefarious here for those of you that are uninformed or uninitiated. Look up the facts.
Just accountability. That's all it is.
It has to do with procedural rules. They didn't follow the rules, so they don't get to keep their meeting, and they have to redo it. So,
and if it was really legitimate, it should go the exact same way that it did before. If it was really so legitimate before.
Hey, we may end up with the same results, but at least we know that the meeting was conducted appropriately.
Exactly. Just like we know that Donald Trump is America's greatest modern president because he won 3 times.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll win as many times as you need us to, guys.
So pay no attention to the rabble-rousers out there, one of which is calling for all counties to show up in Weld on March the 8th. In other words, she wants an insurrection. She wants an insurrection in Colorado.
Can other people even vote outside of Weld County? Are there?
No.
Then what are you going to be there for?
They're not even
all there to intimidate.
They're not even authorized to be inside.
They're just going to be there hanging out.
If you're not a member of the Central Committee, the county does not have to allow you entrance.
Well, there you go.
Now most counties, if the venue is accommodating, can allow a certain number of guests in. Okay,
but that's not the same as everybody from every other county being brought like some kind of odd construction to intimidate.
Well, she wants this mass demonstration outside. She's not going to get it. People are not dumb. Okay, I'm
not driving all the way to Weld County for somebody I can't vote for.
She's just a rabble rouser. I plan to be there as a member of the Central Committee.
Fair enough. Good luck to you there.
The executive committee, but.
If you have any reporting from there, let us know.
I may change my mind on that. I don't know.
You had regret in your eyes when you said you were going. So.
It's not it's cast in stone, so we'll see. Okay.
Very good.
Well, anyway, that's what's going on with Weld County. Anything else that you hear opposite to what I just said is a flat out lie. Okay. So I said it. Okay. They are liars. They are grifters. They are people who want to destroy the state party, and you don't need to listen to them.
And they're not winning very much right now. We're the ones winning. Actually, Hugo, that's a good check-in. Are you tired of winning yet?
I am not.
Okay, me neither.
I never get tired of winning.
Let's keep going.
But there is something that I am glad we won.
Oh, what did we win this time?
Oh, we've got a good one for you. Everybody has heard. I'm excited. Of course, everybody knows Joy Reid, right?
Oh no, now I'm a little worried. What we have to? Why do we have to see
Oh
her
my goodness!
Again?
How many times have you heard her spew her racial nonsense on TV?
All the time. As a Hispanic person, I don't know how to take it. It's like, do I get offended from one side? Do I feel empowered by it? I just don't know. She has no idea. So do we have? How long are we going to have to see her for again? Another year? 2 years of this? How long are we going to have of her, Hugo?
Oh, I don't know. But let me see if I can pull up her little. She went on the air after being fired.
Oh, she's fired. We don't have to deal with her anymore. That's fantastic news. We don't have. My goodness, I feel a return of joy.
We're gonna play a little clip.
Sounds good.
All right, here we go.
Hello. I have to say my heart is so full that I hope I can get through this. My husband is on this call who's also been doing the same. Mignon Moore, who, my counselor, who's been so great. So
where do I get those earrings?
Just always give me advice. Obviously Joteka.
Mia Moore.
Everything. Holly,
can't
who
get enough
I've
of
been
nailed the look. Joy, you nailed the look.
I can't even name everyone. Everyone, you all know that you are valuable. You are wonderful.
Hurry up and start crying.
And, as you can imagine, I have been through every emotion over the past
Which
several
emotions?
days. Tasha knows, she's been on the calls with me for some of them. You know, Angela surely knows. Carrie Jimmy's been on with me. Alicia Gar's I've just been talking to we call ourselves our machetes. I've been talking to so many people, but I've been through every emotion from, anger, rage, disappointment, hurt,
rage.
feeling that, guilt, that I let my team lose their jobs.
You did. Idiot.
But in the end, where I really land and where I've landed on today is just gratitude. Just pure gratitude. And
fast forward.
And gratitude, not just because people would take the time to get on a call like this, or to take care of me.
Here come the crocodile tears.
But also that my show had value. And
it's very valuable.
I'm sorry.
It had value to me. I got a kick out of it.
That what I was doing had value. Had value. And in the end, I try not to cry on TV. And this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize.
If she's calling it TV, I'm calling it TV.
And then it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is that in the end,
paper towel.
Where I land is that the moment that of guilt that I felt that I went hard on so many issues, whether
the quicker picker upper,
the Black Lives Matter issues of a young baby or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted and not just Black folks, or when
Asian Americans. That's
mostly by Black folks, actually, judging by the numerous videos I saw of it, but she never covered it on her show.
Hard for immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents did and try to make a life, and defended them.
Your parents came to this country?
Books that people find inconvenient. That Nicole Hannah-Jones put into our spirit, that we need to understand 1619 as the real founding of this country. Whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object, to little babies being bombed, and where I come down on that is I'm not sorry.
But they don't have a right to object to babies being cut up into little pieces,
I stood up for
right?
babies, and they fired me because of it. Like, really? What? Those babies that were bombed. I'm talking about it. I'm speaking the truth, dude. I will always stick up. I wonder what color the baby was. It wasn't white.
Those things, because those things are of God.
Oh, of God.
And I'm a church girl too, and those are the things
girl.
that I was taught were of God. And so I'm not sorry. I'm just proud of my
Church
show.
Of Satan?
I'm proud of my little team.
You shouldn't be.
The little team that could. I told them today they were the Avengers. They were this little diverse team who we constructed deliberately to represent every type of person in this country, every
race,
religion, every faith, every race.
Oh yeah, right.
Every region.
Race.
Every single
sexual orientation. We said we were intentional. I was very intentional in building my team.
I'm sorry, but did you know she won an award like 5 days ago, and she was on TikTok? I don't know if I get to show it, but if I do, I'm putting it here because it's priceless.
I have some big news. Guess who just won not one but two NAACP Image Awards? The Reid Out won for Best News and Information Series. Oh my God. Big ups. So proud of the Reid Out team. Oh my God. We worked so hard on the show. So thank you to everybody who's been so supportive of the show. All the readers who watch it. Everybody, thank you. I'm so excited for the Reid Out team. But guess what else? Bookie. Baker and Murley won in the biography category. I'm just so excited and so proud. Thank you, NAACP. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. Thank you guys. Bye.
Then they give her the boot. 2 reasons why they did this podcast. First one, money. Listen.
On this, but I don't care. She can't put me backstage because she ain't running the stage. You guys don't know how much money it costs to run this.
How much?
We can have 10,000 people on Zoom, but it costs several thousands of dollars to host these Zooms every month.
Oh, wow.
When we were in campaign season, it cost even more. There are people who are donating to make this work happen. We gotta stay united and connected, y'all. We don't know.
Give me some donations, people. And that's what she says. I want your donations. Send me your donation speech. Did you know, America? To do a Zoom podcast, thousands of dollars it costs. Several thousand, maybe $10,000.
BS!
To do a Zoom podcast.
BS from the authority of the Hispanic Patriot Podcast.
Do you know how much money this is costing me right now? Can of beer. What a crock. Give me your money.
I need you all to make sure that you donate to Win with Black Women to keep these things going. Donate to Win with Black Men. This historic convening.
Wayward Black women and wayward Black men. Yeah, that's what we want to donate to.
This is why Joy went on this podcast.
Here are the instructions for everybody.
Tell me them.
It is important that you watch the show on as many different devices as you can. I'm going to have it on my phone, on my iPod, and all the TVs in my house because each one of those counts as a
I got it on my phone.
We're going to do that. And
I have it on my tablet.
Make sure that we're using the hashtag
I don't have
joy. We need joy. We're
going
to follow you on social media. But as soon as the show is over, I want there to be a drop. I want them to go from mega ratings to silence. And that is hashtag TV off.
No
and
problem.
We're going to, at 8 p.m.,
all three of your viewers will be gone.
To post turning the TV off, hashtag TV off. And then, of course, don't forget to call MSNBC. Next up, you've heard about it, and we're going to make it simple for you. Hit this hashtag.
Oh, yeah. Let's just call MSNBC and tell them, what.
Imagine mobilizing your fan base to help you keep your job like that. I mean, that was probably where she knew I'm going to lose my job at some point. There's no way I'm staying on the air. I mean, your award from, the NAACP, that's great and all, but it didn't help that either. Nothing helped Joy Reid. She's just joyless now. It's terrible. Yeah. CNN is now going to be totally joyless.
That is that is one of the best news stories of the week. It has to.
It really is, honestly.
I mean, the fact that we got Don Lemon off the air, we've got Joy Reid off the air. Next one should be Whoopi and Joy Behar and that loudmouth Sonny Hostin from The View. And
they're going down like flies, folks, is what we're saying. Like nobody's watching them anymore.
We'll really be cooking. Well, nobody's been watching them anyway. Have you ever seen the ratings for MSNBC? They're lower.
You were told that when Donald Trump was president. Your ratings will be in the toilet without Donald Trump. That is what they were told this entire time. And you know what's funny? Donald Trump is a genius. I said this on the show last time because now he's outsourced all of his negative attacks onto Elon Musk. He just sends Elon out there, and the media just hates Elon so much they don't want to talk about Donald Trump anymore. And then Donald just gets to do stuff. Yep. So this is a genius time. We're losing enemy propagandists, and the enemy's all focused on one target. Guys, I'm glad to be in this war with all of you.
All right, got one last one to leave you with.
Guys, I want to go see this.
That's hilarious. These are apoplectic liberals that have gone off the deep end.
Republicans and MAGA.
This message is for anyone who ever voted for Donald Trump.
Gender affirming care has never been this easy.
I'm a high school math teacher, and I have a pride flag in my classroom.
Where is Luigi? I have a list for him.
Hey guys, on this episode of Are Liberals Okay? We have
looking
a
for
woman
Luigi.
saying that we should deport MAGA. We have an activist instructing illegals with a megaphone who are being detained by ICE. And we have a very special message for Trump voters. That and so much more, please make sure that you are subscribed. If you see the cops or the firefighters at your neighbor's house, it's totally normal to be a little bit nosy when you see something going on around your neighborhood. But please don't pull out a megaphone and begin interfering with law enforcement.
Oh yeah, no, they really hate that. They hate
If they don't have a warrant, You do not need to talk to
You don't
them.
have to answer their questions.
You do not have to answer any questions. Let them slide the warrant under the door. Or put it up to the window.
Where you can see it clearly.
It has to be signed by a judge.
The truth is that he is doing this more for his TikTok, for his social media, than he is to actually help these illegals out, because it is very likely that they don't speak English and they have no idea what he is even saying. They probably think that this is the FBI who is telling him to come outside or something like that. If he really wanted to help them, why doesn't he deliver the message in their native language?
They can have their
It's one word.
signed by a judge.
Not that hard.
They are not valid. Do not talk to them.
Apparently, these people posted this video trying to
Wait,
intimidate
what?
MAGA, and I imagine that it was these people who were behind the camera in the last video.
You can control them?
No, that one. I brought my own. Mine's bigger. Sycamore!
Something's wrong with our education system. Just seeing this picture is enough. Please, say no more.
So I just went to get some lunch today, and I wanted to
So I just went.
Firehouse Subs, and this is not a knock on Firehouse Subs as a franchise, but I walked in there and they're the only people in there, which I couldn't see until I got in there because the light was reflecting off the door. Whereas like just one table full of like 10 burly looking guys with like hoodies and trucker hats and big old beards and
trucker hats.
That was one of the most frightening things I've ever had to do, because anyway, I just want to live in a country where I can feel safe getting a sub sandwich
like a
and not have
diesel
to
on top
worry
of your
about
head?
10 burly men are going to think or do or say or anything when I go get lunch.
Yeah, like
Shop at Safeway then. Has anybody noticed that it's becoming so common for people to just go to the store, go do something normal, and then come back into their car and then just record some video like freaking out? It's always in the car. These types of freak out videos always happen sitting in a car. And it's just so weird.
This is so stupid. Like, for the second time, I'm in a coffee shop just trying to study and do my fucking homework. And like last time, my headphones were dead, so I didn't have any headphones on, whatever. I was just gonna do my essay. And this, like, family sits next to me. It's like a dad and like his like
family,
like teenage son and like teenage daughter, and they're probably like 18 or some shit. And they're sitting next to me and like I'm not like paying too much attention, and like
why do they become triggered about the random things? Like, they were wearing trucker hats. They were like 18 years old. It was a family. Why are they so angry just about
everything? I just like want to go. Like, can we just go walk around? The dad was like, no, like we need to talk about why you guys hate Trump so much. And I was just like, I could hear it. I was like, whatever. And and the dad was just like, it's because you guys need to understand, like, he's doing good because he's trying to stop the trans people who are grooming children. And the daughter was like rolling her eyes. She was like, can we please just go? Like, I don't want to talk about this. And he was like, gay people are fine, but trans people are harming.
Okay, so the last person had some horrendous experience walking through a sub store. Now, this next person just had a bad experience just sitting at a cafe, just existing. So these people are complaining about how difficult it is to exist. And are we not going to mention how bizarre this story sounds? That a family sat down and then the dad immediately said, we need to talk about why you guys hate Trump. This is totally fake. You made this up. Not you, this person. You wouldn't. You would never. Not you, this person, of course.
Thank you, man.
Oh, this is a good one.
Oh, man, here we go.
This is a really oversized.
I'm going to say this one time, and I will not be adding any further details.
Okay.
Where is Luigi? I have a list for him.
Okay. Wow.
Get in line.
So you made a video to let the world know that you're crazy. Also, that is quite a lot of fur on that hat.
Yeah.
Speaking of Luigi, let's talk about all the women who were lined up at the courthouse just hoping to see this criminal, to see this horrible man. Why would you waste your day like that? Why do some people look up to idiots?
Dear Mr. President, my name is Daniel Thomas Pryor. I am a citizen of the United States. And I dare you to pass an executive order on me, you little fascist piece of shit. And for those of you who voted for Trump, you.
Watching this video makes me want to be very careful to never accidentally move in next to this person. He seems like incredibly scary. It's like I barely even heard what he said. All I heard was, "My name is Darren and I'm an angry, scary man." That's all I heard. That was really creepy. Here is another lovely message for Trump voters.
It's time to speak up. This message is for anyone who ever voted for Donald Trump.
All right.
I grew up in a Republican county in a Republican state.
Ooh.
And so I understand what we've been told over and over. And I understand why some of you voted for him. I do. I didn't agree and I didn't vote for him, but I can understand how you got there. But I want you to know that any of you who are now realizing this isn't what you wanted, he lied to you. Any of you who are now feeling like you regret that mistake, I promise you, I will never say, I told you so. Not ever.
We don't want to hear
I will run to you with open arms and say, welcome home.
Oh my God.
Because
she ran to me with open arms. I'd run the other way.
It has to stop somewhere. And it stops with me. It stops with me. Come home.
Yeah, it stops with you.
Come back to the rest of your American family. There will be some, like the cranky old relatives, who are going to talk like that to you.
That's me.
But it won't be me. And you have a place here. Come home and join us.
She's like using the prodigal son story.
I can't do. Okay,
we are the board. But honestly, folks, I want to introduce something. If you guys actually want to see me and Hugo react Hispanic Patriot style to libs of TikTok, libs of Twitter, whatever. If you want us to react to liberal meltdowns and you enjoy this, please let us know. If you want to see this as a special or something, let us know. Or if you want to see it on the local on the weekly show, let us know in the comments. Spam the comments if you want to see us do that, because that was a lot of fun, Hugo. I will say that.
Just wanted to share a little bit of what's going out there in the what do they call that,
the jungle,
the Twitter sphere, or whatever.
The X sphere nowadays. And I want to just say one thing. I actually get along with people who look like those people quite a lot. And I think honestly what it is their emotion. Yeah, no, right? I think what it is the emotion. Like I have this sort of like old foreign kind of thing where it's just like, I'm really friendly. This is something that we have in Italian communities, Hispanic communities, Greek communities, a lot of Mediterranean cultures. We'll just be up on you, just be really friendly with you. Hey, we'll force you to interact and in one way figure out.
Because you don't look like a Republican, man.
Oh yeah, it must be my slightly reddish skin, gringo. Yeah, it must be what it is. Now, actually, I told you this story.
You long-haired hippie,
right? I had a Democrat say that to me because, as you all know, one of the reasons I support Trump is because I am a Hispanic. I believe he's been great for Hispanic countries and will continue to be. And the Democrat said to me, I'll never forget this my entire life, you only support Trump because you look like a white Hispanic. Guys, these guys have more
I've
racial
had that one before.
Dude, because liberals have more racial thinking, more sexist thinking than a Republican ever does. So,
I'm Peruvian.
Which is crazy because Peruvians, mountaineers as it is, very much not your typical brownish kind of. You got closer to the mountains. It's a sun-kissed kind of thing. It made the bronze very pronounced, and that's one of the colors of our race.
I'm not the campesino. I am from the city.
You're also from the mountains, and that's why you get along so well here in Colorado, man.
No, I'm not from the mountains.
That's true. Hey,
I'm from the coastal city of Lima.
You know what that means, actually, folks? That means that Hugo has the blood of two different types of conquerors in him. And that's us Hispanics. Guys, remember, you are not two different things. You are one thing that was made out of two conquerors' bloods. And when you're an American, that ends to three, because America has been the greatest conquerors in the world, but also the most humane. Yep. We are magnanimous in victory, folks. So when you come join us, or even if you don't, you'll enjoy good government.
All right. Well, I hear the banjos playing. So that means we're out of time.
Oh, man. I was
overtime. But thank you for tuning in tonight. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Absolutely.
As always, drop us your comments. Hit the like and subscribe button. Send us a few greenbacks and help us grow.
Yes.
So next week we have a special guest, one of the candidates for our state GOP chair, Darcy Schoening. And
you are not going to want to miss that one, folks.
You don't want to miss that one for sure. And then we'll hope to have one of the opponents, hopefully the following week, if she accepts. But we'll extend the invitation. So thank you for tuning in, and make sure that you remember to share our platform with people and help us to get out there.
Absolutely. And we appreciate you guys when you do. So thank you so much.
March is upon us. The eyes of March.
That's my birthday. Julius Caesar. That's what we hope to bring here. We got the American Caesar as president. We are going to have great leadership in Colorado. We hope you guys enjoy the interviews we're bringing you soon.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Good night, and have a good evening.
God bless America.